Adam. But no, not there.
You seen this? Boxes coming out my arse.
God. That's how you've not had your morning brew. Christ.
Well, nothing's stopping you from putting the kettle on though, is it, Jess? Oh, what's this now?
Tea. Coffee. Cold drink, maybe.
Something stronger.
Got some Vimto.
£273.54 on the electric. I wouldn't mind, but she never even had big light on.
Just put it on the pile.
You know, I don't even think I like tea. I only ever drink it when I meet her. She does a good one though, does Julie? Perfect water to milk ratio.
Leaves the bag in for just the right amount of time.
Not too long.
Not too short.
No matter how skint she is, she always has a pack of digestives in the kitchen cupboard.
Come on. So. Brew.
Nah, maybe later. I think I just want to sit, think about stuff. Today's been...
I know.
Yeah.
So. Beer.
Go on then. You think they're giving us a bit longer than 4 weeks? Doesn't really seem like a long time to pack up someone's entire life possessions.
They just want to get smartened up and write it out again, don't they?
Smartened up? Kitchen tap's been leaking for as long as I can remember. It's like this vase. This bloody vase. What are we going to do with this vase?
Oh, Adam.
What, do you want it?
Oh, no, not really.
Right, so what are we going to do with it?
I don't know. Could charity shop it.
I think it's from the charity. Yeah, £1.50.
£1.50 for that? God, it's flaming horrible.
She liked it.
Hey up. Sideboard. Who's having this?
Where am I going to put that?
Well, it just seems a shame to get rid, doesn't it?
Well, I don't think the sideboards are going to fit in the charity box.
Someone will have it. Oh my God. Oh.
It's a good do, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, that meat and potato pie, well, lovely. You know, I weren't really impressed with that potato salad, though. Were you?
Do you think it was worth $6.50 a head?
Don't know. Never organised a do before. Not to that extent, anyway.
A do? Is that its official name?
I think it's called a wake.
A wake? There was nothing awake about it. Mum slept right through.
Adam!
What?
Pack it in!
Too soon.
Honestly. Here.
I'm bloody starving, me.
Oh, Christ.
What? I hardly ate anything.
You ate 3 plates, Adam.
Exactly, I rest my case.
Well, your options are limited. Crunchy or a bounty?
What do you think?
Oh, God, I don't like you. I actually hate you. But the fact that I can't have you, even if I want you, just makes me want you even more.
Still on that diet then?
Yeah, I am. I'll have 1 brew a day. Red top milk and no sugar. One time, we had to go slimming away with Mum, because she couldn't get anyone to look after us. And she was already fuming, because that were the only 2 hours a week she had time to herself. Even if it were spent in an old church hall with a group of middle-aged women. And she warned us before going in.
Oi, you two, behave yourself in here.
So she made us bring colouring books and pens. I mean, I like colouring, so it didn't bother me. So there I am, yeah, colouring in this picture of Buzz Lightyear, minding my own business. And out of nowhere, she shouts us. My mum shouts us.
Oi, you two.
She was telling us to wave to her Slimming World friends. Now listen, she knew how much I hated any form of social interaction. But obviously, embarrassed little me proceeded to do awkward smiling and waving. With your front left tooth missing, like that. But that was sight and half. Proper wound me up, that did. So I just sat there sulking about the fact that she just completely embarrassed me.
You have got a face like a slapped ass.
So I just sat there watching this meeting. God, you don't realise how boring a group of middle-aged women are to sat in a room full of them. All the posh ones there with different variations of Cath Kidston lunch bags. Following the circle around like a game of pass the parcel. Oh, I guess it's kind of nice you've got a support network for when they're eating one too many Mars bars. Actually, no. Thinking about it, it was more like a cult. All confessing the sins one by one. You know, I was actually really looking forward to Mum's turn in the trust circle to see what she came out with.
Unfortunately, Julie has put on £3 this week. But that's okay. Let's hope for some improvement next week.
Everyone did that comforting smile towards Mum's direction. Then out of nowhere, something came over me. Revenge set in. It was happening, and I couldn't stop it. I grew the biggest pair of balls known to man. That shy little tooth-missing 10-year-old had gone far away. I stood up. I got on that chair. I opened my mouth and I wailed across this church hall.
That'll be the McDonald's tea she had on Wednesday, followed by the chippy tea she had on Friday.
Oh my God. Mum was mortified. And so was I. Let me just tell you, after the rollicking I got when I got home.
I've had it up to here with you, embarrassing me like that. I told the Fat Club it can't be me diet. I've been eating soup all week and I've been laying off the crisps, and they bloody believed me till you opened your gob. And don't even get me started on your dad. 5 days a week I work, I cook, I clean, I wipe your ass while I'm at it, and what does he do? Bugger all.
You know, I didn't get it back then. Why Mum was always so mad at me. But now I realise it weren't me. It was that Mum was never dealt the right hand.
She loved the Alan Titchmarsh show, which was ironic because we lived in a 2-up, 2-down terrace with a 4x2 metre garden on a main road. But still, if it kept her occupied, I was happy enough. I think she was saying,
I'm doing the garden this summer.
for a solid 10 years, and yet the garden always remained the overgrown jungle of weeds it was when we first moved in. Now complemented by some old furniture and the box the telly came in 2015. But she was still adamant that one day she could.
Oh, have me breakfast out there on a Saturday morning.
We need not remind her that she's not in the Costa del Sol, and more so the Costa del Oldham, which doesn't quite have the same effect. She was all over the garden when we lived in the old place. Back then we had a trampoline. We were the most popular kids on the street. Lewis's swing set, 3 doors down, that was a play toy of the past. The neighbour wasn't at all impressed. I mean, we were basically running Blackpool Pleasure Beach from our backyard. Kids would flock from all corners to come and see the world phenomenon that was mine and Jess's trampoline. I considered hiring bouncers to check tickets at the back gate.
Yes!
I guess it's understandable why the neighbour hated us. My mum wasn't too fond of her, truth be told. She was one of those neighbours. She'd be out walking her dog every single time a blue siren went past. My mum used to say,
Oh, there she goes again. 7th walk today, that. Poor dog.
nobody on the street liked her. You know, she was just one of them neighbours where there's no logical explanation as to why you don't like her, but you just don't. But it was Mum that bore the brunt of it. No matter how many times she repeatedly told her,
I haven't put any of my bin bags in your brown bin.
but she wouldn't take no for an answer. Mum always kept herself to herself, and she never really made a fuss, which must have been hard, raising us two. But one day, that all changed. I remember it vividly. It was awesome. August 2003. The sun was shining down. We went straight out after breakfast. And that's when I saw it. Staring me in the face. An hole. A stinking massive hole in my trampoline. This was sabotage. It was effectively a hate crime against every child on the street.
Mom!
With tears flooding down my face, my mum stood up and went to have a look. And well, that was that.
She has gone too far.
She'd finally pushed every button my mum had. And she went off. And I mean off. She marched round there, dressing gown on, slippers still on, and she banged on the front door.
Accusing me of stealing a bin is one thing, right? Throwing your cigarette butts over the wall is another, but this, well, this is a step over the line, missy.
The neighbour just stood there, smirking and laughing. And well, Mum, I thought she was going to swing for it. I mean, I would have. But she just laughed back. Stood there looking like the biggest barn pot in Oldham. She just laughed back. She was always one step ahead, was my mum. I mean, her priority was protecting her kids. Commendable, really. She never bought me a new trampoline, though.
Picture this. Me,
Mum, Adam, and Bernie. Tupperware boxes crammed with jam butties. And wagon wheels, lots of wagon wheels. Cheese and crisps, and a few bananas. All packed up, and off we went to the bus stop to get the 184 to Upper Mill. The longest bus journey known to man. As you get closer and closer, the houses start to get posher and posher. Stuff we won't see often, Mum used to say.
This is how the other half live.
So, we were going to Upper Mill for a picnic, a kick around, and a mess about on the stepping stones. Me and Mum are in our dresses, and Adam's wearing his shorts. And we got on the 184, and after a while,
A long while.
we arrived in Upper Mill, ready to have some fun. The minute we stepped off that bus, we sprinted over to the park, and it was heaving. Families everywhere. But that didn't stop us. We were having a great time. Until Adam had obviously fell and had banged his head as usual. After Mum telling him 99 times not to climb that way up the slide. Injury aside, we carried on playing. And within 15 minutes of stepping off that bus, can you guess what happened?
In good old-fashioned Oldham style.
It absolutely pissed it down. You know when it starts with a drizzle? So you can kind of deny it's raining at all. But then you realise it's a drizzle that's the worst. It just gets heavier.
And heavier.
To the point you literally look like you just stepped out the shower. The park emptied quicker than the bedding section next on Boxing Day. The only ones left after 10 minutes of denying the rain. Absolute troopers, if you ask me. But even then, Mum said,
Right, I've had enough. We're going home.
so we headed back to the bus stop, and that is when the coldness started to kick in. Bernie, he was shivering, bless him. He was such a good dog. Until he did that thing that dogs do when they're wet. Do you know the thing I mean? That thing. So, we're all sat at this bus stop, coatless, teeth chattering, and wait for the 184. There's only so many games of mini dig and I Spy you can play till it becomes painful, even as an 8-year-old. We've been sat at this bus stop now in non-stop rain for 40 minutes. And honestly, I was ready for setting off walking home. But then, Adam came out with the most beautiful sentence I could have heard at that point in my life.
Mum, we forgot about the picnic.
Oh my God, we forgot about the picnic. You know, I've never felt warmth like it. All three of us, and Bernie, all sat at this bus stop in Upper Mill, in pissed, wet-through summer clothes, jam butties in our hands, wagon wheels on our laps, and the biggest smiles on our faces. You know, it really is about the finer things in life.
I was about 15 and I saw a homeless man asking for spare change. Made me laugh, really. I mean, who's got spare change? I mean, even the richest of people have an idea what they'd rather be spending the money on. So I said.
Nah, mate, I haven't. Sorry.
And I turned. Put my hand in my pocket and there was a quid. I was walking away at this point. He had no idea that I had that quid. But I caved. I'll admit it, I wanted to look good. Isn't that why everyone gives money to the homeless? To look like a do-gooder? Chucking the coin in the cup to make as loud a clang as possible. Just so that all the average other people walking through Piccadilly Station have seen you giving money to an homeless man. I mean, Mum wasn't one of them. You know, them people, who talk too loud on the bus. I mean, she used to help them. Buy them a drink. Or a butty. One time, she even bought a bloke a pair of joggers from Asda. But that's where it ends, isn't it? If you're not homeless, then you're working class. And yeah, you're poor. But you've got a bed. And a home. So, you're doing...
Just great.
My mum used to say that.
Oh, great.
It was a very versatile word. Open a present from the neighbour.
Oh, great.
The time I flooded the bathroom.
Bloody great.
And when the bailiffs came round.
Oh, great.
To us, it was just a game. But to Mum, it was a fight for survival.
So the knock on the door would go.
Big fellas, bald heads, one at a tash.
I'd always get the light.
I'd lock the back door.
The rules were, if they saw you, we'd be out. And if we left anything unlocked, they could get in.
It was so cool.
And if the chaps went away, we would be victorious!
Winners!
Champions of the world! Until next time.
We would all do our chosen duties and then retire to the base, which was behind the sofa. From there, we had a clear vision of the front door so that we could check for potential invasion from the attackers.
And out of eyeshot from the back window, just in case one of the sneaky ones tried getting in round the back. And
we would wait.
And wait.
And wait.
And Mum would always say,
I love you both very, very much.
and we were giving Mum the evils. She was going to get us caught.
Mum, you're not following the rules.
The game has begun. Please be silent.
Window secure at the rear.
Door secure at the front of the property.
Bernie is in position and ready to cause a commotion.
The big one is looking in our direction.
How's it looking on the east side, Jess? Over.
The east side is clear. All clear. Over.
Operation Knock Number 7 is in full swing. Always remain vigilant.
The attacker is moving closer to the front room window.
He's raising his arms.
He's looking right at us.
He's looking at Mum.
Mum, what are you doing?
And just like that,
She stood.
her hands dropped by her side, each grasping for one of ours.
Her face, pale and white.
Our captain had accepted defeat.
All comrades, step down. In
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who's that now?
Window cleaner.
God, today of all days.
Have you got £3?
There's a £5 in my coat pocket. Just give him that. And tell him if she owes anything else, I'll sort it out next week. Blimey, Mum. Could have paid the window cleaner. Not even here when they're still after your money. I've still not forgotten when they took my bike. The worst bit is, I think we secretly like playing that game. What are we going to do without you now, eh?
Oh, it was only $2.40. That change plus what's in my wallet's enough for a chippy tea.
Oh, 3 meat pies, portion of chips, 2 mushy peas and a pot of gravy. Yeah?
2 meat pies, Jess.
Yeah. 2 meat pies.
You know, on second thoughts, I think I'll have that sideboard.
Well, I'm not having that vase.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird to think.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to live here?
I know.
Who'd want to live here?
I wouldn't.
She liked it.
Do you think?
Yeah. How long have we got?
A couple of days.
17 years.
Can't believe she never got rid of our bunk beds.
Yeah. Maybe one day she was hoping we were going to come back.
Do you think she was happy, Adam?
Dunno. I hope she was.
Yeah, but do you think she was really happy?
Well, she never got to go on that Caribbean cruise, if that's what you're asking.
Hey, we should do that.
Do what?
Come on, Caribbean cruise.
No. It won't feel right now.
Yeah, I guess. It just feels all wrong, doesn't it? What are we going to do now?
Just sit down, Jess.
Sorry.
Bloody hell. Things got a bit too deep there for my liking.
Adam. Just me and you now, eh? Right, that's enough moping around for my liking. So we've got the bookmarks to take down, the rest of the house to pack, and landlord wants the keys by Monday? Monday.
Fancy that brew?
Oh, I'd love one. Oh, but I've packed the sodding kettle.